3 messages. From God to you: the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran. Part 4. Who brought the final message? Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad conveyed the final message of God. He was the seal of prophets. History tells us that he was known for his fidelity, integrity, and trustworthiness. He never worshipped idols when idol worship was rife in a polytheistic society. 1. He always believed that the whole universe must have been created and controlled by one God. When Muhammad reached 40 years old, he used to meditate frequently in the cave of Hira, which was on a mountain 4 kilometers east of Mecca. In the month of Ramadan, the 9th month of the lunar year, 610 CE approximate, Archangel Gabriel appeared to him for the first time while he was in the cave and told him to read. Muhammad was frightened. He could not read and did not know what to read. Archangel Gabriel repeated his word "read" again and again, then he recited the following verses from God. 2. Read. Read in the name of your Lord who created everything. He created man from a clot, clinging to the wall of the womb. Read. And your Lord is the all-munificent who taught man by the pen. He taught man what he didn't know. Quran, 96:1-5. Muhammad was terrified. He was extremely scared. He ran back to his home. He was trembling. He told his wife Khadija what happened to him and asked her to cover him. She told him that God would not let him down or allow devils to touch him as he kept good relations with his relatives, helped the poor people and liked doing charity. 3. A divine revelation or satanic whisperings. Muhammad was afraid that he was possessed by evil. He went with his wife Khadija to tell the whole story to Waraka bin Nawfal, a relative of Khadija, who was a religious Christian person and knowledgeable in the Bible. Waraka predicted that Muhammad would be a prophet. Gabriel continued to come to Muhammad over a period of 23 years. During this period, God's message to humankind, the Quran, was revealed. Name: Muhammad. Father's name: Abdullah, son of Abdul Muttalib. Ancestry reaches back to the Prophet Ishmael, son of Prophet Abraham. Surname: Clan. He was from the Bani Hashim family. Bani Hashim was from Quraysh, a tribe that was highly ranked in Arabia. Date of birth: April 22, 570 CE approximately. Place of birth: city of Mecca, Makkah, Arabian Peninsula, currently in Saudi Arabia. Date of death: June 6, 632 CE. He was approximately 63 years old when he died. Death and burial place: city of Medina, 400 kilometers north of Mecca. Brief biography: childhood and adolescence. Birth: 2 years old. Muhammad had no brothers or sisters. His father died before he was born. His mother sent him out of Mecca to be breastfed by a wet nurse called Halima. This was an old Arab custom. 2 to 6 years old, he lived with his mother Amina until she died in 576 CE. 6 to 8 years old, he lived with his grandfather Abdul Muttalib until he died. 8 to 25 years old, he lived with his paternal uncle, Abu Talib, who had 10 children. 2. Working life. Working life: childhood to mid-20s. He worked as a shepherd, looking after sheep and goats for others. In addition, he worked in trading with his uncle Abu Talib. According to authentic narrations, Muhammad was 12 years old when he joined his uncle Abu Talib in a trading trip to Syria. Mid-20s to 40 years old. He worked as a merchant or a trader for a wealthy woman called Khadija who had a general trading business. They used to buy commodities from one area and sell them in another. He was famous for his fidelity, integrity, and trustworthiness. It was not long before he earned the title of As-Sadiq al-Amin, which means the truthful and the trustworthy. 40 to 63 years old. When he was 40 years old, 610 CE, Muhammad received the divine revelation and dedicated his life to conveying God's message to all people, the Quran. He succeeded to unite Arabia and bring people back to monotheism. This is the word Muhammad in Arabic, written in artistic way to look like leaves from a tree. Farid al-Ali. 3. Marital status. Muhammad married Khadija, who was a respected woman in her community. Muhammad worked for her for 2 years before she proposed marriage to him through a third party. She found him a loyal, honest, and ethical person. Although Khadija was 15 years older than Muhammad, both of them came from a similar social class in the community. The age difference was no obstacle to the establishment of a successful marriage that lasted for 25 years until Khadija died in 619 CE at the age of 65. Muhammad and Khadija had 4 daughters, Zainab, Ruqayya, Kulthum, and Fatima, and 2 sons, Al-Qasim who died when he was 3 years old and Abdullah who died at the age of 4. Muhammad is not the father of any one of your men, but he is the messenger of God and last of the prophets. God is all-knowing of all things. Quran 33:40. Say, O Muhammad, O people. Indeed I am the messenger of God to you all. To him belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. There is no deity except him, he is the one who gives life and causes death. So believe in God and his messenger, the unlettered prophet, who truthfully believed in God and his words. Follow him that you may be guided. Quran 7:158. Say, O Muhammad, O people. I am only a clear warner to you. So those who believed in the message of God and did righteous deeds, for them is forgiveness and generous provision. But the ones who strove against the signs and words of God will be the companions of hellfire. Quran 22:49-51. The following are extracts from chapter 10, Jonah, Surah Yunus. When our verses are recited to them as clear evidence, those who do not expect the meeting with us say, bring us a Quran other than this or change it. Say, it is not for me to change it on my own accord. I only follow what is revealed to me. I fear, if I disobeyed my Lord, the punishment of a tremendous day. Say, if Allah had willed, I would not have recited it to you, nor would he have made it known to you. I lived with you and dwelled among you a lifetime before it. Will you not understand? So who is more unjust than he who makes a lie about God or denies his signs? Indeed, the criminals will not succeed. Quran 10:15-17. Muhammad and the unbelievers. Say, are there any of your partners who can begin creation and then repeats it? Say, God begins creation and then repeats it, so how are you turned away from worshipping him alone? Say, are there any of your partners who guides to the absolute truth? Say, God guides to the absolute truth. So who is worthy to be followed? He who guides to the truth or he who guides not unless he is guided by someone? What is wrong with you? How do you judge? Most of them do not follow except assumption. Assumption does not avail against the truth at all. God is knowing of what they do. It was not possible for this Quran to be produced by other than God. It is a confirmation and explanation of the scripture before it. There is no doubt that it is from the Lord of the worlds. If they say the Quran is made by Muhammad, say, then bring forth a surah like it and call for assistance whomever you can apart from God, if you were truthful. Quran 10:34-38. Say, O Muhammad. O people, if you are in doubt of my religion, then I do not worship those which you worship apart from God, but I worship Allah, who causes your death. I have been commanded to be of the believers, O Muhammad. Direct your face toward the religion of monotheism, and never be of those who associate others with God. And do not call besides Allah what neither benefits you nor harms you, for if you did, then you would be of the wrongdoers. Should God touch you with hardship, there is none who can remove it but him. And if he intends for you good, then there is none can keep back his favor. He causes it to reach whom he wills of his servants. He is the all-forgiving, the all-merciful. Say, O Muhammad, O people, if you are in doubt of my religion, then I do not worship those which you worship apart from God, but I worship Allah, who causes your death. I have been commanded to be of the believers, O Muhammad. Direct your face toward the religion of monotheism, and never be of those who associate others with God. And do not call besides Allah what neither benefits you nor harms you, for if you did, then you would be of the wrongdoers. Should God touch you with hardship, there is none who can remove it but him. And if he intends for you good, then there is none can keep back his favor. He causes it to reach whom he wills of his servants. He is the all-forgiving, the all-merciful. O people! The truth has come to you from your Lord, so whoever is guided is only guided for the benefit of himself, and whoever goes astray, do so to his own loss. I am not a guardian over you. O Muhammad! Follow what is revealed to you, and be patient until God judges. He is the best of judges. This is the word Muhammad. In Arabic, designed by artist Abdul Majid al-Noairat. It simulates the climb of Muhammad on the Mount of Nur, light, and his striving to find about the one God, the Creator and Lord of all beings. So, is there any duty upon the messengers except the conveyance of a clear message? Quran 16:35. O Messenger! Deliver what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you do not, then you have not conveyed his message. God will protect you from people. Indeed, God does not guide the disbelieving ones. Quran 5:67. High, above all, is God, the Sovereign, the Truth. O Muhammad! Do not hasten with recitation of the Quran before its revelation is completed to you, and say, My Lord, increase me in knowledge. Quran 20:144. In 632 CE, Prophet Muhammad performed Hajj, i.e. pilgrimage to Mecca. It is one of the 5 pillars of Islam that must be done once in a lifetime for those who have the financial and health capabilities to perform it. It includes performing religious rites in the sacred mosque and other places in Mecca that have connections to the life of Abraham, the father of prophets. By that time, most tribes in the Arabian Peninsula had embraced Islam and reverted to monotheism. The Prophet's mission was accomplished in 23 years and his life was nearing an end. On the 9th of Zulhijjah, the last month of the lunar year that matches 632 CE, Prophet Muhammad gave his farewell sermon to more than 100,000 people who gathered in an area called Arafat. Muhammad's farewell sermon. In 632 CE, Prophet Muhammad performed Hajj, i.e. pilgrimage to Mecca. It is one of the 5 pillars of Islam that must be done once in a lifetime for those who have the financial and health capabilities to perform it. It includes performing religious rites in the sacred mosque and other places in Mecca that have connections to the life of Abraham, the father of prophets. By that time, most tribes in the Arabian Peninsula had embraced Islam and reverted to monotheism. The Prophet's mission was accomplished in 23 years and his life was nearing an end. On the 9th of Zulhijjah, the last month of the lunar year that matches 632 CE, Prophet Muhammad gave his farewell sermon to more than 100,000 people who gathered in an area called Arafat. In his final sermon, Prophet Muhammad wanted all believers to hold firmly to the message God sent to humanity. His farewell sermon was not a normal speech. It was a historical meeting between a nation and its leader who conveyed a divine message that brought light and guidance to all humankind. On that day, a great verse was revealed from God. This day, I have perfected your religion and I have completed my grace upon you and I approved for you Islam, submission to one God, as your religion. Quran 5:3. The following is not a literal translation of Prophet Muhammad's final sermon, but a translation of the main points he addressed. Listen attentively to me for I do not know if I will ever meet you again after this year and in this place. O people! Verily, your blood, your property and your honor are sacred and inviolable until you appear before your Lord, as the sacred inviolability of this day and this month of yours. Verily, you will meet your Lord and you will be held answerable for your actions. Every right arising out of homicide in pre-Islamic days is henceforth waived and the first such right that I waive is that arising from the murder of Amr bin Rabia, a relative of Muhammad. O people! Your Lord is one and your Father is one. All humankind is from Adam and Adam is fashioned from clay, no superiority except by piety. The Arab is not superior to a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab to an Arab, nor a red-skinned person to a black-skinned person, nor a black-skinned person to a red-skinned person, except through Allah consciousness. Have I not conveyed the message? O Allah! Bear witness that I have conveyed the message. Prophet Muhammad warned Muslims not to deviate from God's law or gradually fall astray. He said, O people! Verily, the Satan has despaired of ever being worshipped in this land, but he will be pleased by obedience in anything, short of worship, in matters you may think insignificant. So beware of him in your matters of religion. At the end of his sermon, Prophet Muhammad said to all present people, What will you say when you are asked about me? They said, We bear witness that you carefully conveyed the message. Prophet Muhammad said to them while pointing with his index finger to the sky, O my Lord, be my witness. He repeated that 3 times. Prophet Muhammad lived for only a few months after he completed the pilgrimage rites in Mecca and returned to his home in Medina. It was Monday, 12 Rabi'a Awwal, 632 CE approximate, midday when Prophet Muhammad died in his home. And guard yourselves against a day in which you shall be returned to Allah, then every soul shall be paid back in full what it has earned, and they shall not be dealt with unjustly. Quran 2:281. According to authentic narrations, this was the last verse revealed to Prophet Muhammad before he died. And we have not sent you but as a mercy to the world's Quran 21:107. Muhammad is not but a messenger, other messengers have passed on before him. So if he were to die or to be killed, would you turn back on your heels to unbelief? He who turns back on his heels will not cause any harm to God. God will reward the grateful. Quran 3:144. Muhammad, a prophet for our time. By Karen Armstrong. This book was published in 2006 by British author and former nun Karen Armstrong. She argues that as of September 11, 2001, we have entered a new historical era that requires an equally thorough re-evaluation. This notion was one of the reasons that Armstrong decided to revisit a subject she had already covered in 1992 in her book, Muhammad, a biography of the Prophet. She depicts Muhammad as both a mystic and a wise political and social reformer. He preached loyalty to God rather than tribe, reconciliation rather than retaliation, care for orphans and the poor, and in many ways, empowerment of women, which was a surprise to some. Armstrong indicated we must approach the life of Prophet Muhammad in a balanced way to appreciate his considerable achievements. He had important lessons, not only for Muslims, but also for others. Muhammad literally sweated with the effort to bring peace to war-torn Arabia. His life was a tireless campaign against greed, injustice, and arrogance. She trusts that, if we are to avoid a catastrophe, the Muslim and Western worlds must learn not merely to tolerate, but to appreciate one another. A good point to start is with the figure of Muhammad. Q&A about contemporary issues. By Adib Abdul Razak. Did Prophet Muhammad teach violence? Of course not. He is a messenger, not a warrior. He conveyed God's message to humanity. It cannot be a message of war. It is a message of guidance to all children of Adam in order to make them aware of their Lord who created them and bring them to peace, love, and justice. Then, why do we see terrorist attacks by Muslim extremists? In every religion, there are followers who are extreme. Extremism is a universal phenomenon that is influenced and caused by many complex factors. It is not related to a particular faith or community. There are more than 1.7 billion Muslims worldwide. Muslim extremists do not represent Islam. They are much less than 1% of the total Muslim population. Many of these extremists join terrorist organizations who react to political developments or acts that are seen unfair or unjust to them or their people. They retaliate to these acts in their violent way. But extremists and terrorists are commonly motivated by their religious beliefs. This is not a precise statement. The escalating terrorism in our present time is initiated by identified organizations primarily for various political reasons. Religion is not the cause of terrorist behavior, but it is used by some extremists as a vehicle to justify their awful behavior. Statisticians know very well the difference between cause and effect. Prophet Muhammad refused all forms of religious extremism and told extremists that, whoever does not accept his sunnah, i.e. teaching and way of life, then they are not among the Muslims. Further, he condemned targeting civilians and instructed Muslim soldiers not to harm any non-fighting person. He also stated clearly in his authentic sayings that committing suicide is forbidden in Islam and whoever commits suicide, he or she will be admitted in hellfire, see Bukhari 5778 and Muslim 109. Christophobia versus Islamophobia. Although Christianity is described as a religion of love, tolerance, and peace, history has witnessed many shocking war crimes that were initiated by organizations. Armies or countries who were proud to be Christians. Can we hold all Christians in the world responsible for these crimes? If Jesus did not promote violence and terrorism, why did the Crusades kill more than 60,000 innocent civilians in Jerusalem in 1099? What about the Tribunal of the Holy Office of the Inquisition, Spanish Inquisition, which was responsible for the torture and killing of thousands of Spanish Muslims in 1478 following the fall of Granada? What justifies the mass killing of millions of native Indians by American colonizers for many decades until 1924? What about the Holocaust, 1933 to 1945? And the genocide against Bosnian Muslims between 1992 and 1995? Can we blame the Bosnian people if they had Christophobia? Can we describe Christianity as violent religion despite the fact that many violent acts, mass killing and crimes were committed by Christian people? Pocket Guide. The Prophet of Islam Muhammad by Sam Deeb and Stephen Scholl is a pictorial book that provides a biography for Prophet Muhammad and an overview of his teachings that formed the moral basis of the Islamic civilization. It also sheds the light on Islamic culture, art, calligraphy, and architecture. The book is available in international languages such as French, Spanish, German, Russian, and Chinese. This is the word Muhammad in Arabic written in a formative style. It looks like the upper part of a mosque with a dome in the middle. The lower part of the mosque is formed from the sentence Rasulu Allah, which means, the messenger of God. In Arabic, the word Muhammad means a person who is highly, frequently, and repeatedly praised for his good deeds. Therefore, he is a praiseworthy person.